Today I want to talk about connection to others' consciousness, or learning to see things a different way than the way you currently do, right? So some of us can get kind of down and stuck sometimes and feeling like everything is bad, or have a hard time seeing anything good, or so what we need is, and what we really appreciate when that happens, I think, is somebody who can help us kind of reframe our situation and see what we could potentially do a little bit differently in order to change our circumstances, right? And some of us need that, and some of us need that and we don't even know that we need it. We refuse to believe that we need it. I think, we run into those people that think, they don't need any help ever with anything. And I can, admit I've been one of them. But it's a shared perspective of the world. It can be good or bad. And it can be connected to at any time. And, it's kind of weird how our world works. The super raw reality of things is mostly kind of bad. And so we can all get, a little bit honest with reality, having to base everything on that point that, base reality is kind of bleak, at least from my perspective. The base of reality is bleak. I don't know if bleak has... It's not good. Anyway. Base of reality is not good. For the most part. You wake up, you eat, you do the same things, and you just have to... we have to work a little bit hard to make it interesting and try to make it a little bit more livable, like through socializing. And we create goals, we created our society, things to increase the quality of our lives. And so the thing is if we get too stuck in this base dimension of reality where you can be stuck trying to keep it the same. And, because that feels safe. It feels safe to keep everything the same because it's going to happen again. Everything is going to be the same. But if we learn to connect our consciousness to outside perspective, that's how we've learned to shape and recreate and make our world better, make our world a better place. And there's people like me, I'm sure, who are happy to share all of our information in our consciousness, our unique perspective. Because we all have our own view, and then we have the one that we all share, and so the one we all share is base reality. It's not that it's not good, but it's not that you have to live there all the time, because you got to go there to get things done. You got to go there to make sure that everything's running, that all your stuff is there in case of an emergency. But nobody wants to sit around here all day waiting for the end of the world. You can, and that's a thing to do, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You can connect to different people's perspectives. And so it's important for me to share this, because it's important to learn, if you have your unique perspective and you're sharing it all the time, it's second nature to just share with people. And you'll notice there are some people around that, they're happy to take the information you give. They're happy to use it or to have you act on it, to show them how and to do it for them. But they don't take it in and act on it themselves. They want to take from you, but they don't want to do anything with it. They don't want to make it their own. Right? So learning to control your own unique perspective is important. At least for me it was, because I used to freely just share everything I thought all the time. And at times that made me look like a fool. And at times, mostly that made me look like a fool, but also had me getting taken advantage of constantly, because this is the only thing that's valuable that you have. Money is a thing you need, but this is how you get it. This is how problems are solved. This is the only way anything gets better, is with your unique perspective. And once you learn that you need to use it wisely and share it wisely, you can control the reality of your world, So cutting off people from this perspective is not easy, and you start to feel understanding of there are people that don't utilize and respect your perspective, but they did just take it from you, and it felt good to just let it go. It's hard to hold on to it all the time. And so, the thing that I think about with that is that, lonely is the man who knew too much. Right? So if you don't tell people about what you know and share to help others, then you're going to be stuck all alone, gatekeeping, this information that you could have to help other people, but you'd rather just watch the problem keep happening and say, I told you so. We love those people, right? We love them so much. We have to, but they're out there. They exist. So lonely is the man or woman who knew too much. Okay, so we have to find a balance. We have to find a way. This is what I'm doing with this information that I'm sharing with you here. I'm learning to find a balance and a filter between sharing everything and sharing what's valuable to you or what could be valuable to others. And people can tune in and tap into this consciousness. And that's where we can learn to grow and see a world that's different. And this is a thing that happens everywhere. And people are afraid of it with all these offers of things out on the internet. It's too good to be true. How is this going to happen? And this is a part of our human ego that, kicks in and tells us that these things aren't possible. And the thing is they're hard. It's not that they're easy, but you have to do exactly what they tell you to do, right? And that's why they have money back guarantees on things. And this is why it is. The world is really not so complicated, but it feels like it is because we get so trapped. We get either trapped by our unique perspective and thinking that it's so unique that nobody could ever understand and that only we know and that we are the, we just control everything to the point where it's not a good place. Or we believe that our perspective is useless or worthless. If we've gone for so long feeling unheard and not received, not connected to, then we start to feel like our unique perspective is worthless. But it's not. It's not worthless. It's just that the people we're choosing to try to connect to are not receiving that. They're not meant to connect with you. They're not on the same frequency or vibration, right? Like they're not interested in what you have to say. And it doesn't mean that you can't stay around these people, but you got to learn how to manage that. You got to learn how to manage your own expectations, because that's the only thing you can control is yourself. But yeah, you can connect with the people on your frequency when you start controlling your energy and you start controlling the way you share your perspective. And I know, like, when I start to try to explain these things, I feel silly because it seems so obvious, right? But to some of us, it really isn't. And I know how these algorithms work. All of this information is going to slowly catch up to people when they need it. It's exactly like people are worshiping YouTube like it's God. And so one day this information will come across you, and I hope it serves you well. I'm sharing this type of stuff also because there's times when I'd like to help my daughter and help her expand her consciousness and things like that, so she can learn to see things in different ways and understand how different people feel. But sometimes when you're a parent and it's your kid, you can't always get that perfect connection because something's off up here and something's off down there. I'm worrying about this, she's worried about that. And so this is why it's important for me to try to explain these things, so that one day when she's feeling like, if she goes so far against whatever I say, she'll have this to look back on. People that refuse to expand their consciousness are going to be forced to one day. It happened to me. You think you know everything, you don't. And, if you think you do, then that's when you've hit the end. And that's, it's not a good place to be. It's not a good place to be because there's nowhere else to go. But anyway, yeah, so so as you just learn to control your energy without cutting your entire self off from the world. Sharing insight that into just certain difficult things. It can be anything, like how to, like you see all the information on YouTube, change a tire, anything that you want to know how to do, you can do. And there's people that know that this exists, and they are happy to watch you just do it for them. And that's okay, if you want to do it for them, but you got to realize that there's the doers and the takers. And so just keeping an eye on this is important, because at a certain point, you're going to diminish all your energy. And that's why they say only the good die young, probably, right? Because they just keep giving and giving and giving. But yeah, so think about that. I know there's some interesting information about this that would make people think that, this type of thinking is kind of, I don't know, from certain contexts, this is, maybe not the best for some people because it's thinking outside of what is already happening. You're not having gratitude for what you currently have. But it's not exactly that. It's mostly allowing yourself to be the sovereign being that you are in the universe, in the world, and being able to accept that you weren't put here just to be miserable. You can change that. You can look for things that are better. You can change your circumstances. You don't have to keep doing the thing that you hate, like there's always going to be something that you have to do that you would rather not. That's just part of life. Like there's always going to be something in base reality, right? I mean, some people enjoy that stuff, but to me, like, in the most perfect world I could imagine, yeah, you could somehow skip all the stuff that you don't want to do. I think that's why we have technology. That's why we've created all these things to shorten the amount of, work that we have to do. But they're always going to be there. You have to attend to those things. And there are people that you will probably have to work around, that aren't going to be ideal in navigating your world. But you have to expect that, and you can still change it. You don't have to be feeling suppressed in a prison within yourself. Like nothing can ever be better. That is exactly when you need to tap into something like this. That's what we have therapy for. That's what we have groups for. That's what, people that want to grow and enjoy their lives. And there's always a way. So think about this idea, connecting to other people's consciousness or imagination, because some of us can't think of that. Some of us cannot think of these basic things. Like we'll sit there and take in and take in and take in, but we don't think about when we're just sitting and scrolling through 30-second videos of things on TikTok or YouTube. Like we just get stuck in our circumstances. And the only way to change that is by realizing yourself, realizing you are the creator of everything, good and bad. Like you accept it, and you can change it. So think about that. And thank you.